Good Tuesday morning, and thank you for joining us here on KARE 11 News Now. I'm Jason Hackett. Let's get to your headlines. Make sure you take it out there slow this morning. We have more snow falling across the metro right now. These light systems won't bring a lot of snow, but the roads are still dicey after the blizzard on Sunday, so give yourself a few extra minutes to get where you're going. We're getting hit twice with snow today. We're going to check in with our weather team in a little bit for a closer look at the forecast. If you parked on the street, you're going to want to move your car. Right now, plows are going around St. Paul and Minneapolis to clear all of the snow. Michelle Beck is in St. Paul this morning, where new snow emergency rules just went into effect overnight.
Yeah, hey there. Good morning to you, Jason. Minneapolis certainly got a head start declaring their snow emergency. Day 3 parking rules kick in Minneapolis starting at 8 a.m. And here in St. Paul, while the rules themselves, they are different, you still want to remember that time, 8 a.m. Both cities have parking maps online, and this is St. Paul's. Take a look. Toggle through the filters at the bottom of the page. Starting at 8 a.m. today, you should not be parked on day plow routes. Those aren't specifically marked by signs, so that map will be useful. Now, if you park at the wrong place at the wrong time, you could get ticketed or towed, and St. Paul told us they towed hundreds of cars overnight. Towing and impound lot fees start at around $240, and that number climbs with every additional day at the lot. We met Tyler from St. Paul, who found out where to park before it was too late.
Oh, I'm very lucky. Yeah, and I'm probably just gonna go throw it in the driveway and block everybody else in.
Yeah, no other choice. Well, meanwhile, in Minneapolis, you want to move your car again before 8 a.m. Today, you should avoid the odd side of streets that are not snow emergency routes. But again, all that is listed online. So make sure to find out what your rules are for where you live.
Michelle, thank you. Happening today, the State Department of Children, Youth and Families will share what they found during a visit to a local learning center accused of a fraud in a viral video. This morning, the manager of Quality Learning Center speaking out, saying the facility is legitimate after being accused of fraud in that video. That facility has been open on Nicollet Avenue in Minneapolis for 8 years, but recently became the focus of people and politicians across the country after it was featured in a video by conservative YouTuber Nick Shirley. In the video, which now has almost 2 million views, Shirley claims the center is fraudulent because of the locked doors, misspelled sign, and nearly empty parking lot. But Ibrahim Ali, whose parents own the center and is a manager there, says they serve roughly 50 to 80 kids on an average day and employ roughly 25 workers. Ali says Shirley shot the viral video outside of the facility's operating hours, which are Monday through Thursday from 2 to 10 p.m. and posted on the door.
There's no fraud going on whatsoever. He came, I think it was 11 a.m. Obviously, there's no cars in the parking lot. If you look around, there's cars now. Yeah, because our employees are here. Our children are here.
So as for the now viral misspelled Quality Learning Center sign, Ali says it was a mistake by the graphic designer and will soon be fixed. The commissioner of the Minnesota Department of Children, Youth and Families says staff members visited the facilities featured in the video at least once in the past 6 months, and children were present. She says staff visited the centers again yesterday to evaluate the claims made in the video, and the agency will be able to share those results today. And at the same time, the Minnesota Department of Human Services now says it's reviewing 80,000 Medicaid claims in the latest pay period to make sure they are legitimate. The state is partnering with a third-party firm, Optum, to flag suspicious billing activity in 14 Medicaid-funded programs considered at high risk for fraud. They include autism, recovery, and mental health services. Once the claims from these programs are verified, DHS says they will release the money to legitimate providers. But the agency says it may lead to some delays in payment.
These Medicaid benefits are truly critical to the lives of so many Minnesotans, and we're doing everything we can to protect these services and ensure people get the care they need.
DHS says some providers may receive money within 30 days, but if there are questions about billing, it could take up to 90 days. State Senator John Hoffman is running for re-election. Hoffman shared the news on Facebook, saying he's seeking re-election to keep leading with dignity. The senator and his wife were both shot in their Champlin home in June during the attacks on lawmakers that also took the lives of Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman and her husband. Since then, Hoffman has used his platform to call for more civility in politics. This morning, a 35-year-old man is now charged with second-degree murder for the death of a hospital security guard. Court documents say despite a medical hold, Jonathan Winch pushed his way out of the ER at mHealth Fairview Lakes Hospital in Wyoming on Christmas Day. Documents say surveillance video shows him then beating 43-year-old Andrea Merrill, who was found next to her security vehicle unconscious. She died 2 days later at the hospital. According to the charging documents, the suspect reportedly stated, "I didn't mean to hurt her," several times. An update this morning. Teachers in the state's largest school district are one step closer to a possible strike. Last night, a mediation session between Anoka Hennepin educators and district leaders ended without an agreement. Union leaders say the district's latest proposal, quote, moved negotiations backward and included less employer support for health insurance. Both sides will meet again on Friday. Tough words from President Trump aimed at the Hamas terrorist group as he meets with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The two are trying to push forward a peace plan that was put in place this October but has since stalled out. NBC's Bofta Yamam has all the details.
The meeting between the two leaders filled with high praise for one another and even the announcement of an Israeli award for President Trump. And while they failed to cement an agreement on phase 2 of the peace plan for Gaza, President Trump did send a clear message to Hamas. President Trump hosted Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at his Mar-a-Lago estate, the U.S. hoping to move forward with the second phase of the Gaza ceasefire.
As quickly as we can.
But the president says progress largely hinges on Hamas's disarmament.
But if they don't disarm, as they agreed to do, they agreed to it, and then they'll be held to pay for them.
In effect since October, a U.S. brokered ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas. But the president downplayed the lack of progress and Israel's actions. Its military killed hundreds of Palestinians since the ceasefire. Details of Monday's talks remained elusive.
Well, we have had a discussion, big discussion, for a long time on the West Bank. And I wouldn't say we agree on the West Bank 100%, but we will come to a conclusion on the West Bank.
With high praise, the two showcased their public support for one another. This comes as the prime minister is gearing up to run for re-election in 2026.
I'll say it again and again and again. We've never had a friend like President Trump in the White House. It's not even close.
Look, he's a wartime prime minister. He's done a phenomenal job.
And Trump says he would support an Israeli attack against Iran if Iran attempts to boost its ballistic missile reserves or restore its nuclear program.
We'll knock them down, we'll knock the hell out of them, but hopefully that's not happening. I heard Iran wants to make a deal.
The president added if Iran is building up weapons, they're not using the sites the U.S. forces, quote, obliterated during airstrikes on Iran's nuclear facilities back in June. Now, Trump clearly focusing on high-stakes foreign policy conflicts, holding key meetings this week. He met with Ukraine's president in Florida on Sunday and Russia's president by phone, also attempting to cement a peace deal there. In Washington, Bofta Yamam, back to you.
Well, this morning you're going to want to check your fridge, pantry, and medicine cabinet. Hundreds of products sold across Minnesota need to be thrown out for concerns of rodent contamination. According to the FDA, Gold Star Distribution in North Minneapolis operated under unsanitary conditions, including the presence of rodent urine and bird droppings where several products were being held. They say those conditions could cause products to be contaminated with bacteria like salmonella. So impacted products include candy, medicine, gum, pet food, cereal, spices, tea, and some condiments. They were sold at more than 50 stores across the Twin Cities. No illnesses have been reported, but we do have a full list of impacted items on our website, KARE11.com. Another group of volunteers is popping up to help clear snow for those in need. The Fulton Snow Angels, one of 7 neighborhood groups, part of a pilot program with the City of Minneapolis's Public Works Department. This is the second winter of that program. They help people for free who meet at least one requirement: 65 or older, a person with a disability, or someone experiencing a temporary illness or injury.
I have other friends in other neighborhoods who are, a certain age and really should think twice about shifting heavy snow. I can do it, but I feel it a bit in this part of my life.
Some of the other neighborhoods included are McKinley, Weber Camden, and Harrison. Thank goodness they are out there to help. Stick with us. More news and weather coming up after the break.